Welcome back to the Plus Money Podcast, your home for the best soccer bets in 15 minutes or less. We got a loaded weekend in the Premier League. We got a nice weekend in Serie A, some okay games in Spain, and in France, the league will probably be decided. I'm Andrew Passaro. He's Nick Dianni. I'm not going to say it was a great middle of the week. It was an okay Tuesday. And then Wednesday, did the bottom fall out a little bit? Yes. For me, it did. For me,
Tiny
it
bit.
did. Um,
But we gave out some plus money winners. I think we're positive on the week, which is good, but not following the trend of like the 4 or 5 units we picked up every week prior.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We're not, here's the thing. If we were amazing at this, we wouldn't be talking to you. We would be in Vegas and you would not know our identities. That being said, we've got a loaded weekend and we're going to start with Everton Arsenal, and news literally just broke. Could not have, I mean, it's really bad for one of these two teams, but I'm happy that we were taping after the news broke. Gabriel is going to be out for the remainder of the season for Arsenal, yet another major injury for them as they pick up the win on Tuesday, but now face a very difficult game against Everton and have Real Madrid looming in the middle of the week. And honestly, and I do rate Saliba quite highly, but Gabriel has been their best
Yeah.
defensive player this season, has been a major set piece threat. So losing him and Calafiori not being available, Timber also picking up an injury means that you're sliding Kivior in there, who I do not rate at all. That guy looks like a deer that's learning how to run at the first time. So there's really good value in Everton right now. Everton double chance at plus 105. I'm gonna play both teams to score, which is hitting 4 of the last 5 for both clubs at plus 110. Nick Cash both teams to score, I think at plus 130 when they played Fulham. Fulham had a late garbage time goal on Tuesday, and frankly should have had a second. They
Yes.
very easily could have, tied up that game. And your boy, who was a nuisance for Liverpool, Beto, anytime goal scorers plus 340, plus 322 shots on target. I'm not telling you to bet Beto props here because they are
Never.
not. It is not a shoe in. Um, but the numbers right. And if he's gonna play like a nuisance again, like he does. Here's the thing: I don't watch Everton really outside of the 2 games that they play Liverpool every season, and so that's why it's like, why is this team so far down in the table? Like you would think that a team that comes out and plays like this is capable of playing like this, 30 times a season. Turns out it's twice a season for them. Um,
Hey, covered the 1.5 goal spread that we gave out.
they did, and Liverpool to win 1-0, 2-0, 3-0 will hit at plus 150. So, um, yeah, I think both teams to score at plus 110 is the play, and Everton double
Yeah.
chance is a sprinkle. But what are you thinking?
I'll answer your question. They just don't generate enough offense consistently. Their defense is very good. They are very pesky. They've obviously been improved. I feel like they've played better than their results. And I think what they have draws or like a 1 goal loss in like 8 of their last 9 games or something crazy like that. Like they could even be a little bit further up the table. I will say that I think they could get on the score sheet. I kind of think they do. I agree with your bet. I'm gonna just throw out a crazy one here because there's no value in taking Arsenal on the money line in this one. You mentioned it. They're banged up. Most importantly, they're looking ahead to the Champions League. They have to be. They just played 2 days ago. The correct score band of Arsenal 2-1, 3-1, or 4-1 is plus 400. I think that's
Oh,
very interesting because I think Everton score. Arsenal very well could win. I think plus 400 is a strong, strong number for those results.
yeah, I like that a lot. That's a really fun flyer. And Saka coming back and scoring a goal rather immediately. They didn't even start Trossard. I was kind of disappointed with the lineup that they put out on Tuesday with some of the attacking pieces that are returning, to this team. I would have thought they would have gone for it in a London derby at home, but
I don't want to give Arsenal advice,
yeah.
but like it's the clearest team for the past 3 years where like just buy an actual striker.
Oh, I think they're gonna do it
Just
this summer. I
I don't
think they're
know.
gonna. I think they're gonna buy a
That's what you're
striker.
missing.
Yeah, yeah. No, Victor Gyökeres come on down to the Emirates is what's gonna happen. This is a derby game. We're going next. Palace are playing Brighton. I don't remember why this is a derby game. I've looked this up in the past.
It's the two
Um,
teams I can never get right, Derby.
well, yeah, yeah. It is. It's the
Yeah.
Nick Dianni. How do I figure this team out? Figure this out, bull. But there's a weird rivalry between these fans. I think it has something to do with like an FA Cup fixture way back in like the 80s or something and
Sure.
whatever. But these two teams fucking hate each other. It is in the both teams to score parlay. And I have this written down here. Um, Only two shutouts in the last 15 head-to-head games between these two clubs.
Yeah.
So, both teams scoring over 2.5 at -120, which is hitting three of the last five for Brighton and the last two head-to-head, is very playable for me. I really want to like Palace shit the bed for us.
Yep.
Let's not act like they didn't. Palace shit
Yep.
the bed against Southampton. I didn't watch that game because I was obviously watching Liverpool. Um, Palace draw no bet at -124 or money line at +145 are all good options. And I don't hate team total over 1.5 at +106, but I'm just going to take the both teams scoring over 2.5 and the draw no bet at -124 and close my eyes and be done with it.
Yeah, you threw this game on the docket. Every week you're trying to get me to bet Palace. You're trying to get me to bet Brighton. I hate both teams. Can't figure them out. We're simplifying everything you just said. Over 2.5 at -130. Little chalky, but it's right there. 2-1 game one way or the other. I don't see any other result here.
Yeah, I think this is points for both of these teams if they want to move up the table, which
Definitely.
Palace dropping points definitely makes them to finish top half, probably a higher number. I haven't looked at it, but I'm if I can get that at +500, I'm playing it. Brentford are playing Chelsea on Sunday. There's a really good Sunday of games, a lot of 9 o'clock Sunday games. I don't love Liverpool playing in that window, but we'll start with Brentford. They're taking on Chelsea, and I'm going to take Brentford team total over 1.5 at +116. Brentford have only hit that total in 5 of 13 matches, and Chelsea have only given that up in 5 of 17 matches, both of those in 2025. But it's hitting three of the last four head to head for Brentford. And I know we haven't seen Chelsea play. We're taping Thursday morning. We haven't seen Chelsea play Tottenham. I just don't trust Chelsea right now. They're on this weird, like I know they're in fourth place. I know they've gotten results, but they haven't exactly been playing like world beaters, and they lost. They went out with a whimper to a very poor Arsenal team right now, 1-0. I know that was at the Emirates, but I was expecting a lot more from Chelsea in that game, and I feel like Brentford are cheeky enough to score a couple goals in this game.
Yeah, listen, I don't want to discount what Brentford's done. They've been awesome. We've talked about it, but Chelsea need points if they want to stay in this top four, top five race. You mentioned they do have a game before this next one, but I like them on the money line at +115. I just think they need it. And that's going to shape a lot of my plays going forward for the rest of the year. Like, if they don't get it done, it hurts them more than it hurts me losing one unit. But, they just kind of need 3 points any which way they can get them. So +115 standing out to me here.
Yeah, it's a good enough number. My concern with Chelsea right now is it's kind of the same one with Arsenal. It's like the forward option is not there. Nicholas
Cole
Jackson,
Palmer's been a disappointment this
Cole,
year.
yeah,
I hate
Cole
to say it.
Palmer, yeah, is taking a major, I don't know. At this point, it's like you see this in the NFL, you see this in other sports. Like, just come out and say you're hurt. Like, tell everyone
Well,
you're playing hurt, and all is forgiven. Because
yeah,
I've been saying, I mean, Diogo Jota scored for Liverpool yesterday, and I'm like, brother, just tell me that you kind of came back at 80%. You've been trying to play yourself into that 100%, and it hasn't been working. And I will not, because he's major. Like, I'm not going to say it's a step back, because I would still take Cole Palmer instantly in almost every club in the
of
Premier League
course.
would. But not having as much success, and weirdly, like Nicholas Jackson not being available for Chelsea is a major is being a major impact for them, and he is one of those players that it's like on his day he's really fun, and on other days he's missing two or three chances that he easily should have scored.
Yeah, Liverpool have some of
Aforementioned,
those guys.
oh yeah, aforementioned Liverpool are traveling down to London for Fulham. Um, Liverpool money line at -120. Fulham have only one win in the last five. You talked about teams that have to have it. Liverpool are a team that has to have it right now. They are 4 wins and a point away from clinching a Premier League title. They'd love to get this done in April before they have to play Chelsea and Arsenal at the start of May. I think they also have a game against uh, who was it? I don't know. They don't have to play Newcastle. I think they're done with Newcastle. There's somebody else that's tough. I think they have to play Palace in that stretch in May. So it's like, yeah, let's get it done with. Team total over 1.5 at -122 is right there. I think that's. I think if you're worried about them winning at Fulham because Fulham have been a team in a thorn in their side, I would play the team total because they have scored two quite a few times. Um, I also just kind of see Liverpool being on the front foot of this game. Over 6.5 corners at +166 It's hitting only 2 of the last 5 for Liverpool, but it's hitting 5 of the last 11 for Fulham, where they've given up 7 or more corners. At plus 166, it's a number that I'm interested in, but I think money line is just the play here.
Yeah, you can pretty much just edit me out of this segment because those were the two plays I have written down. Liverpool money line, Liverpool team total. I take them both. Take one, take whichever you like. 2 goals to win this game. I think they get it.
Yeah, it's not that complicated. Manchester Derby. I have 2 plays. One
Good
I'm
for
very
you.
con one I'm very confident in. One I don't love the number enough to probably actually put in. Omar Marmoush, anytime goal scorer plus 170. His goals on his last 2 for City. Holland's out. He's the best attacking threat that I believe City have right now. Um, I do expect this game to have some level of craziness to me. Manchester United have shown up in all of these like games against, except maybe Tottenham, and all of these games against like their traditional rivals. Whether it's beat Chelsea, they were a thorn in the side for Liverpool. I know that they have a lot of injuries, but Emerim has done while they might not be able to win games consecutively. Emerim has done a good job of identifying the games that they need to get up for and has done well tactically. Um, United to score first at plus 115 isn't good enough for me, but City are doing the Liverpool, thing where they give up a lot of goals first. City have given up the first goal in 5 of their last 10.
Okay, that's a little more interesting than I
It,
thought.
I just, I don't, I
I
needed
wish
that
it was
number.
like a plus 150 number.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. It's more of it's more of I want to watch. I'm talking about that prop more so because I want to watch that prop for the next like 7 games after this one on Sunday. Marmoush is the play. I hate this game. I hate betting this derby, but it's the biggest game of the week and we have to talk about it.
Yeah, listen, we've talked about it a lot recently. I think Manchester City have gotten priced incorrectly for the large majority of the season, especially the back half of the season. I think books are pricing them for who they used to be, or for who they've been for the past 10 years, for who they could be on paper, not for their actual form. That being said, for whatever reason, the reverse is caught up, and I'm taking City money line at plus 110 because if you were giving me literally any team to play Manchester United and get a plus sign, I'm taking it, especially City. So they've been better, I guess. As much as I would like for this bet to fall apart and City is out of the top 5 and, we all get to cheer for that, I just don't think Manchester United have that in them. I don't care that it's a derby game. Plus 110, City money line. I've done no more analysis than that. We're fading United till the end of time.
Amen. Monday in the Premier League. We don't usually give bets this far out, but the number is too good to avoid. In their last 14 games, Leicester have only scored twice. Leicester only have scored in 2 of them. None of them are home games. They are they've not scored in 7 straight home games. Leicester under half a goal is plus 175. Both teams to score no is plus 130.
Okay, as usual, we're on the same page. I came with stats, 4-0 in the reverse fixture. And yeah, you mentioned all the games that Leicester have not scored. So I had clean sheet at plus 175.
Yeah, I didn't play it against Manchester City because it was like minus 120, and I'm never gonna play no like a team not to score
And I
goals at
was
minus
looking, I was trying to
120.
make the case from the reverse angle of like, hey, Newcastle's been really good on defense. They haven't, but Leicester's just bad.
Neither of Manchester City. Manchester City's defense has been suspect as hell,
Yeah.
and they just shut out Leicester. I don't, Leicester are such a disappointment. But there's a way to make money. All right, jumping to La Liga. Barcelona are playing Betis. Uh, we fucked up last weekend. We should have bet the Betis Derby. We should have bet the Seville Derby. Um, but Barcelona and both teams to score has hit in both teams to score has hit in 3 straight. Both teams to score has hit in 3 of the last 5 for both of these clubs. I don't see a situation where Barca don't win this game. It's plus 120. Um, Barcelona are just a machine, but I do expect. But Betis did score against them when they lost 5-1 in the reverse fixture.
Yep.
And Betis has made some, fun additions in the winter transfer window. Anthony has been very good for them. Cucho Hernandez has been very good for them coming in from MLS.
Yeah.
Um, Betis are very look,
Fun
they're a
team.
fun team to watch, and I think we've seen Barcelona get into some crazy games this season whether has been with Atletico, whether it's been with Benfica. I certainly could see this as a game that Barcelona somehow score five, but Betis get a couple.
Yeah. They got to be looking ahead just a little bit. Also, right? They have some stuff coming up. I have two player props that I like because I agree that Betis score. I think you have to go like over 3.5 to really get anything playable. If you're looking straight total or even both teams to score, over 2.5 is not going to get you there. But if we think they score, which I think they do, Isco is plus 400. The guy is at the center of anything they do on offense. In my mind, he's one of the most underappreciated, underrated players of the last 20 years. He is an absolute menace. And you mentioned Anthony. I don't know that he's going to score. I don't think he's going to score, but he's plus 600 to score a goal. That's kind of a big number. Just tossing it out there. So if it hits, I could sound really, really smart. But I think Isco at plus 400, he'll take a penalty kick if they get one. They're generating enough offense for that number just to pretty much be an automatic play.
Yeah, Isco is one of those guys that when Real Madrid were just torching teams with that 4-4-2, when they won three straight Champions League, was what a player to watch. I
Yep.
mean, and a player that like obviously left Real Madrid and hasn't like I think he kind of got his flowers this year because he had a really good performance against Real Madrid, but um, struggled with injuries for a while and has like totally recreated his career and like is I don't think gets and like he wasn't on any of those Spain teams that won anything, and I think that's like a real I think that's kind of the like um detriment to him because there's so many other players that played in like a similar position like a David
Right.
Silva or Iniesta, Xavi, etc. But like what a fucking player, man! Like
No doubt.
such a like you want to go watch some highlights, go throw on an Isco highlight tape, and you'll see some magical moments. Jumping to Italy, AC Milan hosting Fiorentina, and Fiorentina have not won at Milan. Fiorentina have not won at Milan since 2019,
Oh,
September of 2019. That being said, is there ever a better time to
no,
fade Milan? No, there is not.
no.
Fiorentina double chance at minus 115. If you like Fiorentina to get the win, draw no bet at plus 195. And I'll give out their team total over 1.5 at plus 200.
Better number than I was going to give you. I saw it at plus 180. So I think you just scared me off of a lot of things because that is a terroring fact. But Fiorentina has shown up in these types of games this year. They faltered a little bit. They went through a rough stretch at the turn of the year where they pretty much could have solidified themselves in a fifth or sixth spot. Now they're fighting, seventh, eighth. But ahead of Milan in the standings, they've turned up against all of their rivals. They just thrashed Juve 3-0. I think it was 2 weeks ago. So they can score. I had that team total. I think just the over in the game, over 2.5 at minus 130, is probably just a good straight play. But Moise Kean, this is a guy that's second in the league in goals. He's sitting at plus 250 to score a goal. Are you trusting Milan's defense? So I don't know. I think all the value in this game is on Fiorentina. Be cautious. It's kind of a trappy line. I think Milan at home are tough. They're trying to trap us into them on the money line, but Fiorentina does have Europe next week as well. But I expect a full squad. They're it's a Saturday game. They don't play again until Thursday. They should be fine.
Yeah.
A lot of value on Fiorentina.
Yeah, I cannot in good conscience bet AC Milan right now.
No,
I the other
I've
thing
lost enough money on them this year.
the other thing to maybe consider because I smacked when I was on Ian Joy's show yesterday. Shout out Stoppage Time. Go give them a listen.
I
Um
was going to bring it up if you didn't. Like my man Andrew crushing with the boys
uh
over there at Stoppage
uh
Time. Awesome show.
very fun show. Not my best performance. But Ian bullied me into giving a pick for Inter AC Milan, and I did give out first half no goals at plus 182. This game does seem like if you can get the number right, second half most goals, because AC Milan seem to come out of the gate sluggish every
Always.
single game, and then you can criticize Conceição for a lot of things, but he does seem to like get his subs motivated, and they come on and generally like change the game, which is like Slot does something similar, like his at Liverpool, like his ability to like push the buttons on the bench does have an impact on the match. But it's like maybe just push those buttons before the game, buddy. Like, like
It's one of those teams that just needs a complete reset because the talent is there.
yeah,
This season has just been a lost cause. So
yeah.
I could see them improving dramatically next year just with the core that they have.
All right, Sunday in Serie A, there were two games I kind of stayed away from, and one of them I actually have a pick for. But Atalanta Lazio is weirdly like very important for both of these clubs, and both of these clubs have been struggling. Lazio super banged up, rough performance on Monday. Pedro was starting up top as a striker for them, and Atalanta just not getting results, and they're
Scoreless in
healthy
two.
again. Yeah, scoreless in two, and I don't know. Like, look, like this is exactly what happened to Atalanta is exactly what happened to Liverpool last year, around this time. Like they were competing on all fronts for multiple trophies, and then people got tired, people got hurt, and the legs fell out. And I mean, they ran into a buzzsaw that was Atalanta. Liverpool ran into this year to a buzzsaw that was PSG. And I just look at it as like, has this Atalanta team just played too much football? Like, they have depth, but like Maldini coming on for Retegui is a significant drop off,
Yeah.
and not having Lookman out there, they don't exactly have like a like for like replacement for Lookman.
Yeah, they made some curious moves in the winter, where they're a team that really usually excels in January transfer market. They bring in somebody that makes an impact right away. They didn't necessarily do that. They offloaded some guys. Scamacca came back for like half a second and got hurt. That certainly threw a wrench into things for them. But I'm gonna go on the Lookman hater train just very briefly. The more I watch him, and he's when he's on, you've seen it, right? It's
Yeah.
3 goals in the Europa League final last year. Like he is unplayable when he wants to be. He doesn't want to be. He's like very, very selfish. And I didn't notice it until recently. And you've noticed like CDK's numbers have dried up completely. Retegui is going through a little bit of a rough patch. Like, look, because Lookman's making bad decisions. And I don't know if he wants goals, wants to get transferred, what it is. But the more I watch them, it's like, ooh, small adjustments here, and this team is right back on track. So I don't know. Gasparini's leaving. You know, you hear that at this time every single year. What impact does that have? They know they're kind of out of the Scudetto race at this point. Fragile team, some fragile players. They're like really almost there, but they're just not quite there yet. Tough game to pick. Both teams need it. Both teams look like shit. Probably just a straight over for me.
Yeah,
Over two and a
I
half.
yeah, I could definitely see it. Both of these teams more than capable. Lookman is going to leave this summer. Like they're like
Right.
it's either Gasparini's
And
leaving
that's
and
how he looks. Maybe it's not
right.
selfish. Maybe it's uninterested.
Yeah,
You know,
here's
I
the
don't
thing.
want to
It's like
categorize him, but
yeah,
it's the
it,
vibe I'm getting.
Gasparini is not leaving. He is that club. You take Gasparini out of Atalanta, and there's no one that I trust to keep them playing a sustainable, like, fun level of football, and making these shrewd business deals and developing these guys. My question with Lookman is like, where does he go? Because like a couple years ago, before the Kvara transfer, you would have said, oh, he's PSG for sure. He's played in the Premier League. Like, I don't think he's good enough for Arsenal. I don't think he's a Chelsea. I mean, maybe Chelsea, but like. I don't think he's like Chelsea have 8,000 young left wingers coming in. He's
And
not
remind me
exactly
where he
young.
came from that he played horribly. Was it Palace?
Everton, I think.
Everton? Oh, okay. I mean, we'll chalk that up. It's Everton. It's not
Yeah.
their. It's not his
I
fault.
mean, like, I think he'd do well in the Bundesliga, but like, I don't know if Bayern are going to spend the money that Atalanta
No.
want. And I'm just like, does he end up at Juve? Does he end up at like AC Milan? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know where is the best spot for him. I mean, I think
And
he
it's sorry to cut you off. It's a guy that's injured a lot. It's a guy that is going to go to AFCON next year and probably get return and not be the same or qualifiers or whatever they have going on next year. AFCON's every 2 years or four.
I think there is AFCON next year,
Yeah,
which is
right. It's every
weird,
two
even though
years.
there's a Premier,
So
even though there's a World Cup year.
yeah,
Um, I was gonna say Newcastle actually probably does sound like a decent spot for him, but like they also have Anthony Gordon can play on the right, but like I just don't know where he's gonna be next year. That's a podcast for another day.
sorry.
Roma are playing Juve. Um, and this was one I wasn't gonna bet, and you will not find another person who has been betting Roma more than me. I have been banging on about Roma, 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 Roma for weeks. Oh, uh, I've been banging on about Roma for weeks, and the number just got better overnight. Better, good enough that I will play it now. Roma money line plus 150. I saw it at
Oh,
plus one. Yeah, I saw it at plus 130 yesterday, and I was like, that is not good enough. Juve just fired the coach. They did get a good result. It's a coach who used to play for Juve, so like understands all of the Juve isms of everything. Plus 150, I do. That is exactly where I want that number. So give me Roma money line. But Roma do not have a great record against Juve. I was looking at head-to-heads. It's been a while since they um, have gotten a win. I think it might have been under Mourinho. There was like a crazy. Also, this is another one that it's like you don't necessarily see a lot of goals in this game. Um, it's it's
no, if you look back at the history, it's really not good. It's a lot of 1-1s, a lot of 1-0s. I mean, we do have to chalk a lot of that up to Mourinho against Allegri. I mean, that's just kind of the way it was always going to go. Um, I wasn't fully prepared here because I didn't know if we were going to talk about this game or not, but your point is valid. We just cannot really be fading Roma at this. Like they're the hottest team on the planet. They've looked great. They're at home. Juve hasn't necessarily done enough to warrant a bet yet, even though they're fighting for top four as well. But like, kind of, so is Roma magically somehow, some way. So if they win this game against Juve, I don't know, man. It's maybe one of the greatest in-season turnarounds I've ever seen. Um, so draw no bet at minus 130.
Yeah, it's
Where
right
I'm
there.
at.
It's playable. It's 100% playable. All right, the both teams to score parlay, and then we'll send you on your way, and you guys can enjoy your weekend. Saturday plus 257. We go into that Brighton game as I talked about. Only two shutouts in the last 15 head-to-head matches between these teams. Brighton 16 games in 2025. Seven of those have been both teams to score. Five of them in the Premier League, and it's Crystal Palace only 6 of 14 in 2025. But like I said, rivalry game. Throw out the record books. We've seen a lot of both teams to score there. Barcelona, Betis, I'm putting Barca back in because they didn't concede against Atleti, but I think Betis are going to fuck around and find out in that one. Betis, it's 9 of their 17 games. Both teams to score did hit when they played earlier this season, and I will stick in the MLS. It hit on Saturday, but the parlay didn't hit. Orlando, all 6 games, both teams to score. They're playing a Philadelphia Union team, which 4 of their 6 games have been both teams to score, plus 257. We love that number.
Yeah, let's touch on that game because you hit the nail on the head. That is a over game. Like I wouldn't even be scared at over 3.5 in that game because every Orlando game has gone over in addition to their both teams to score. And Phillies looked really good offensively. So
Which is
love that game.
which
If
is
you
sh
need like I want to watch MLS, I don't know what to do, watch this game.
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot of goals in that game. Philly replacing their longtime legendary coach too this offseason, so kind of needed to come out with a bang. And I don't know, is that Sullivan kid featuring for them yet or not? I mean, he's like a
I
child,
don't think
so
so. The dude that's impressed me a lot, I'm gonna get his name wrong. It's like Hazdog, the Hungarian
oh
kid.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know who you're talking about.
He's been lights out for Philly.
There we go. All right, that's our Plus Money Podcast Talks MLS moment. That'll be it from us, guys. We'll be back next week, Champions League next week. So I will have videos on the YouTube and I will have videos on the TikTok and the Instagram and the Twitter, but I will not, there's no podcast. I cannot be doing midweek pods and everything else that I have going on in my life, unfortunately. But we'll be back next week with a full week of games as we are going to be covering yet another big weekend in the Premier League as we come down the stretch here. I don't remember what games are next weekend, but we'll figure it out.
Well, they're big.
They're big. I mean, it's, well, it's all happening. Everybody have a great weekend. Best of luck. We'll talk to you next week.